even know the time. Bitch, I'm rolling like Ryan. I know when I work, so I need Fetty for my.
Yo, back at it again, rolling with Ryan, and this is Ryan Rage Week. We hitting him again with the pressure. I ain't playing no more. It's getting real. I'm excited to see y'all again. I don't know what day this video is dropping. I don't know where you're at while you're watching the video. I don't know if it's morning, noon, or night. It doesn't matter regardless. The whole point is to make sure I'm hitting y'all with the static. Cause like you know, I'm getting 100 subscribers in 5 more days. And also, I'm gonna get 500 subscribers in 2 months. It's no game no more. I'm not bullshit. I'm not playing with y'all. This is not a joke. This is not funny. Ha ha ha. Keep going. We doing this. We're making it happen. And as you see in the description, this video is gonna be my top 3 books. And I'm gonna give you just a little bit about those books and why I fuck with them. I'm gonna do 2 books that I've read completely. And then I'm gonna do 1 book that I'm currently reading. Just so that I think, you know, again, progression is key. So I want you to have an idea of what I'm trying to do. In the background on like just me reading in general is I wasn't always that person that just sat there and read. I wasn't always the person that necessarily enjoyed. Now I have had times where I like get a book and I start reading and like, you know, I keep reading and finish it. It's probably in my life before the last 2 years. I probably had done it maybe 3 times before that. Other than that, a lot of the books that I've gotten, I didn't finish reading it. So I don't want, and again, I just don't want you to think that like I'm just like a massive reader. I'm not. This was like a process, and it still is a process now. Just with all the stuff that I have to do, just my schedule in general. You know what I'm saying? It took some time to get where I am now. So, but I do think it is important for you to stay well read. If you don't like reading, Audible is important, which I'm gonna introduce actually 2 books today that are Audible, you know, books that I've actually read and or listened to, however you want to say it. So you don't necessarily have to read. Nipsey Hussle, if you're a fan of Nipsey, like I don't think he even, you know, necessarily was a person that read books. He was more so listening to Audible. So just keep that in mind. I seem to like more gravitate to like self-help books, I would call them, you know what I'm saying? But one of the books that's included in this list is not necessarily, I wouldn't consider it a self-help book. I would consider it to be more of, you know, it's literally just a autobiography. And the reason why I like to read, whether it be a book, a story, or anything in general, the fucking article, is because I think it's important not only for you to use your own mindset, use your own environment, use your own experiences to make judgments, to make decisions, but I think you also need to take the time out just to read other people's stories, other people's lives, to get an idea, not necessarily of what to do, but I guess to I put it like this: like if you got a basket of your experiences and you got 3 eggs in the basket, you know what I'm saying? Like you got 3 eggs in the basket, you only have 3. You only have 3 eggs to choose from when it comes to options and choices in life and decisions and ideals. So the way that I'm thinking about it is you kind of have to have more than just that. So, you know, you reading expands your world to more than just those simple 3 eggs. So I kind of feel like every book, whatever amount of eggs that might be, you're kind of adding to that basket. So that's why I read, and I read to think of concepts. I don't, honestly, majority of the time, I don't necessarily agree with all of the concepts, but I can still like use those ideas, use those things in my life. So I appreciate it that way. With no further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Top 3 list of books. I would say my number 3 book would be The 3 Magic Words. We were talking about Nipsey Hussle. That's one of the books that was introduced to him. 2 of these books was actually kind of in some way, you know, I've heard him say that he's read those books through his life. So RIP, by the way. And one of those books is called The 3 Magic Words. And it's by Ewell Stanley Anderson. So it's yeah, you'll see it right there. Ewell Stanley Anderson. And pretty much, just to give you like a synopsis of the book, is literally about using your mind, and it's about the power of your mind. It's about understanding the development of creations. Pretty much, it all begin with your mind. And I think this is a book for anybody that's a creative, anybody that I think that has a goal beyond like what their current point is, or even a belief, beyond their current point. And this book, essentially, I've only read it once. I will say this is a very hard read. It's very like jumbly, and I am a person that likes storylines. I am a person that kind of like, in a simplistic way. But I got through it just based off of some of the like tidbit notes, and I actually need to read it again. But I have that on Audible. That's one of the books that I got on Audible, so that's dope. And I would give, like I said, I give it all the books I've read, definitely top 3. It was definitely eye-opening. I learned a lot, and I appreciate just thoughts in it in general. So my number 2 favorite book as of now in my life right now, I would have to say, and only because I haven't finished the book, is going to be the autobiography of Malcolm X, and it's as told by Alex Haley. I don't know if you can see that, Alex Haley. And the reason why the book has been so like wild, I'm like literally halfway through the book, is because you kind of, first, I think sometimes it's very easy to like just say the past was the past, or like not be able to compare yourself to whether it be a great figure or just your family member, however you want to look at it. But when you read the book, you actually see that some people have not only the same type of lives, but you can actually understand, and it's why any autobiography is dope, is because you understand why they became who they became. And it's interesting, like whoever you're reading, it all makes sense when they've had this type of life, and they start to do certain things. So Malcolm X was like born pretty much like in a shack type living. He had a few brothers and sisters, and he had like a kind of like a regular standard family upbringing. I want to say there was abuse in the house. I don't want to give too much away, but it's just some dope things, man. There's just actually this one quote in this freaking book. I didn't highlight it. I'll go ahead and just give like a general sense. The quote is, it had something to do, he was with this girl, right? And the quote is essentially, one thing, the way that he said, I'm gonna try my best to get it. He was like, one thing that I learned is when you're dealing with a woman, you never ask them about the men that she's been with in her past, because she'll either lie to you or you won't believe her. And I think I'm getting that right. But it was just a cold line, because it's just like, yo, damn, that's the fucking truth. I think a lot of times when you're dealing with somebody, you kind of have, just got a call real quick. Hold on one second. When you're dealing with somebody, you kind of realize in life in general, I think sometimes you kind of overstep those boundaries, whether you mean it or not. And I think sometimes you kind of need to take a step back and just in general understand how the world works and understand the hard cold truth about a lot of things. And that's one of the things that I feel like you should kind of like understand. So that's why that's like one of my top books. But he literally goes from, I don't know the exact state, but he ends up in New York. He comes somewhere around either middle America or South, one of those, and then he ends up in, I don't want to say it wrong. I want to say it's Baltimore. Nah, it's not Baltimore. He ends up in Boston. And like his auntie is there, so he has a whole life. A teacher told him, because he wanted to be a lawyer, a teacher told him, like, hey, don't just choose a regular job, be a janitor or something like that. So you go through that, that stage of his life, and he goes all the way to New York from like selling drugs and you know, connecting prostitutes and then it kind of right now the point that I'm in the book is he's in jail now. I don't really want to give up the book, but it's amazing because you see through his whole life, you see his mistakes, you see his mindset. I don't want to get too much into it, but it really, I would say it humanizes Malcolm X as an individual, but not in a bad way, like in a way that's like, damn, you know, it really does take hardship, and it really does take like a sense of environmental pain sometimes to create amazing people. So it definitely gives like a sense of hope for anybody that's like, you know, I'm not necessarily say have had a hard life, but has a life that they feel like they can't come back from. And so just reading the book in general is just definitely inspirational, and definitely has taught me a lot. My favorite book, and I think one of the most pivotal books that I've read, that I've already read about three times already, was The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida. But pretty much the book is I want to explain it the best way possible. I'll say this, like, so when Nipsey Hussle introduced it, I want to say he introduced it on the Breakfast Club, and it was a little minute ago, it was a long time ago. And pretty much the way that he introduced it was pretty much his wife had put him on, you know, to the book and like gave him the book. So it was kind of that was one thing. And pretty much he just said it like you have to be a very confident individual to like let your spouse read a book like that, because the dynamic of the book is about feminine and masculine energy and just about polarity, and it's pretty much about getting the best out of life and making the decisions in your life. And I think the most interesting as a dude, like if you read the book, you're gonna get, because it's for anybody. It's really for anybody. But as a guy, you kind of understand feminine energy on a whole nother level, and I feel like it will kind of mess things up for you, because you'll start to understand a lot of trends, a lot of things in your life, and you just notice when it comes to women, there is, just like men, there's like a kind of like a consistent, like there's like a general sense of a lot of things. So just reading that book, it really, essentially, it's gonna, I would say one of the biggest concepts in the book, and what they'll ask you several times is like, what is your gift? What will make your gift be stronger? What will give you the ability to give your gift at the most, like the highest level? How can you give your gift to the world at the highest level? Because ideally that's like one of the most important things, to make sure whatever you're a creator for, whatever you're doing, that you can not only give the gift to the world, but you can maximize your ability to give it to the world. However you do that, and you have to make the decision how that is. And it's that concept is kind of like consistent. Like it prevails like within the book. So that is the reason why that's my favorite book. But I suggest that you get any of these books if you're, whatever you're trying to do, just because they're just very, very interesting, very helpful in general. Not only just like I said, just like daily stuff, but it's information. No, add eggs to your basket. Make sure that you're kind of like adding options or adding different concepts so that you can make, I think ideally that makes better decisions, or you can have more thought on those decisions. But I know this wasn't like one of my interesting vlogs or whatever, but this is again, I'm trying to get a little bit more intimate. You know what I'm saying? I want to bring y'all in a little bit more so y'all can get an idea who I am. That's my goal. That's what I do. And because I'm doing that, I need y'all to make sure y'all liking and subscribing. Subscribe, hit the button. Stop being weird. That's weird. That's real weird. Don't do that. Just hit the subscribe button. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm out.
Don't even know the time, bitch, I'm rolling like Ryan. I know when I work, so I need Fetty for my time.